Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you how I made this Christmas wood bead garland. I started with some beads in different sizes that I got at our local craft store. And then to get a beautiful, smooth, and even finish, I used Krylon Fusion All-in-One spray paint in the colors matte red pepper, satin white, and satin spring grass. I also picked up some ribbons from our local craft store, and then to paint the beads, I cut some V notches in a cardboard box and placed the wooden beads on some wooden dowel rods and placed them inside the notches. I started with my Fusion red spray paint and spray painted some just light, even coats, turning the dowel rods to make sure I got all sides of the beads, and then making sure they dry completely in between coats. I repeated these steps to spray paint some of my beads green and some of my beads white. I also picked up a snowflake ornament at the local craft store that I spray painted white on both sides, and then when it was dry, I took a Sharpie marker and I wrote the word joy on it. That's the fun part of these garlands, is you can personalize them however you want, so you could make your own ornament or get a pre-made ornament to put on the end of your garland. Next, I took some jute string and I put it through the hole at the top of the ornament, and I tied a couple of knots and then used my scissors to trim off the excess. And then I just pulled out some jute string on how long I thought I would make my garland, and at the end of that piece of string I used some painter's tape so that it would make it easier for me to thread the jute string through the beads. Now at this point you can pretty much do any kind of design and pattern you want with your garland. I chose to do a green, white, red, white pattern, and I also added some smaller white beads in my garland as well. Then it's time to make your tassel. So you're going to use your seasonal ribbon of choice, and it's very important that you do this first and you wrap it several times around your hand. And then you will take your jute string and wrap it around your hand secondly, and it's really important that you do it in that order. When you get it to the desired thickness that you want, you're going to take your scissors, cut the jute string, and then you're going to cut just a small amount of jute string to thread through the middle of your tassel so that you can tie a couple knots on top. Once you're finished tying a couple knots, you will then take the scissors and trim those pieces as well. And then as you're holding the top of your tassel, you're going to use your scissors to cut through the bottom of your tassel. Then you're going to turn your tassel inside out. And that is why we did the gingham first, is so that you could see the gingham on top of your tassel. Once you get the knot hidden inside your tassel, you're going to use the jute string. You're going to wrap your tassel several times around the top, cut your jute string, and then use the loose ends to tie a couple knots. Once that is secure, you will cut off the loose ends, and then you will use your scissors to cut off the edges of your tassels so they're nice and even. Then I use a pencil and I just kind of push it through the top of the tassel so that it makes it easy for me to thread the jute string through it. When you do this, it's really important that you take your tassel all the way to the bottom of the last wooden bead, and that you tie your knot really closely so that there's not much room between the last bead and your tassel. And I just tied several knots there and then used my scissors to cut off the extra jute string. I love how my Christmas wood bead garland turned out. I love it so much. I think I'm going to make some more, but I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you want to follow more great DIY home and decor projects, you can find me over at beneathmyheart.net. Thanks.